So both Keir Starmer and Nigel Farage are both having a terrible week and are both looking to have massive rebellions within their own ranks. So first of all, on Keir Starmer, in the biggest rebellion since becoming the Prime Minister and the Labour Party becoming the government, Keir Starmer is set to have a rebellion of up to 80 of his MPs. So the rumour is that Keir Starmer will be bringing something to Parliament next week to cut drastically something he pledged he wouldn't do, the benefit system. And this has got Labour MPs absolutely going ballistic. Many of them even coming out with public statements, something you don't see very often from Labour MPs. Labour MPs and Labour councillors are very good at sorting things out behind the scene and then following the leader quite often to the criticism we give them for falling in line. But it seems that this is a step too far because many Labour voters are on benefits. For that matter, many voters of all parties are on benefits, and not everybody who's on benefits can help being on benefits. Now, I understand the government's position that they must make these cuts, but this is where it gets tricky for Labour governments. Some of the tough decisions that a government has to make goes against the very principles of that party's membership, and especially when Keir Starmer said, one, he wouldn't do it and did nothing but attack the Conservatives and accuse them that they was going to do it, when in fact the Conservative Party in the last few years didn't actually do it. So Keir Starmer's going to claim that he needs to cut this money for defence spending. He's going to claim that with what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, and if Russia was to conquer Ukraine and then make its way through Europe, that somehow it's a threat to us. So Starmer is going to use this excuse going forward to make all the cuts. But the problem with this argument is that Keir Starmer already announced, rightly again, in my opinion, to make cuts on the foreign budget last week to pay for the increase in defence spending. But I think most people agree something does have to be done in the benefit system. But I guarantee that this will not go down well with the Labour Party. And if 80 Labour MPs threaten to boycott or possibly even vote against Keir Starmer, this could be the start of the end of Keir Starmer. Now, the rumour is that the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, isn't happy about this decision either. And it seems to me that the more left of the party are championing Angela Rayner to make a move for Keir Starmer. So it's going to be interesting to see with the meetings that he's having this week with this MP, with these MPs, will they simply fall in line as they've done so far, knowing that if they step out of line like a few of the others have, that they will have the whip took away from them, effectively no longer being Labour MPs. But I'll tell you something, if 80 of them stand together and defy the government, then there is no way Keir Starmer can take the whip off 80 MPs. So please let me know what you think on this subject. What do you think about Keir Starmer making the cuts to the benefit system? Do you think that this money actually will go on defence? I actually think this is to try and balance the budget because of all the extra costs that have been included since the budget on green energy and Ed Miliband's department. We have had, since the budget, another £20 billion going to Ed Miliband for capturing carbon, and there is more news out last week that an extra 30 billion more pound, that would take it to around 80 billion, is needed year on year. And then we come to Nigel Farage. So it's being widely reported that Reform UK have lost 2,000 members in the last week over the taking the whip and the way it was dealt with Rupert Law, the MP. Now, this is really, really sad news as somebody who voted Reform UK. And in all honesty, I'm more than likely going to carry on voting Reform UK because To me, I can't see any other choice. I don't want Labour. Conservatives, the Lib Dems, the Green Party are far, far too left-wing for me. But I must admit, the way it's been dealt with is terrible. Now, I've seen from comments on my other videos, and I've seen through talking to people, seeing things on X, seeing things on Facebook, people are absolutely furious. And it seems the majority of people are taking the side of Rupert Law. And I understand why they are. It's not saying they don't support Farage, they don't support Reform UK, but they can see that something isn't quite right. The way I think this should have been dealt with, if one of these two had to go, is there should have been a leadership contest. Now, I'm sure Nigel Farage would have won that leadership contest and this could have been put to bed. Even if Farage had the whip took off Rupert Law for the public comments he made, which Rupert would argue he only made because of lack of communication, even then it wouldn't be as bad as the way this has gone down now, with police being called in and Rupert being investigated. And the more the days go on, the more people come out and support Rupert Law. So I'm worried for Reform UK at the moment. I hope this can blow over and they can get back on track. But the more and more I speak to people, the more I find that people seem genuinely hurt by Reform. They seem to feel as if Reform UK have let them down personally. Now, for what it's worth, I think this is more likely a problem between two personalities. And unfortunately for Rupert Law, Nigel Farage is the bigger name and is the leader of the party. But the purpose of this video today is to ask you, how badly do you think this is going to impact Reform UK? And is there going to be more members who are leaving? So for 2,000 members to actually be took off the list, they've actually not only got to resign, they've actually got to ask Reform UK, I'm led to believe, to actually take their names off the database for data protection. Now, if 2,000 people have gone to the efforts to do that, how many more will not be renewing next year? Now, it is important to say that overall, even this week, Reform UK's numbers have still slightly gone up. People are still signing up to the party. And then the bigger question still is, people like you and me who follow this closely, we know who Rupert Law is, we have concerns over it. Some of you feel a lot stronger than I do about it and are actually saying they would never support Reform UK again. But it's come obvious that Nigel Farage is trying to get the support of the masses. He's trying to get the support of people, not only centre-right and right-wing, but also in the centre. Maybe what you'd call true conservative voters. How many of them will be put off by this happening in Reform UK? That'll be interesting to see. So first of all, let me know, who do you think has had the worst week? Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK, with 2,000 members leaving and the whole Rupert Law situation, or Keir Starmer with his meetings with these Labour MPs and potentially 80 of them looking at rebelling and calls for him possibly to be replaced by Angela Rayner. Thank you all for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.